Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing really well. I'm great, and welcome to the Spirit Guide Show. I hope you can hear me and see me. Let me know in the chat. For those of you who come regularly, you know how it goes. Let me know. And while you're at it, share this with anyone who would be interested in watching the show with us today. So there's a share button. I think it's up here. You can click it and just invite anyone who's interested in spirit guides and wants to learn how to connect with them. My name is Jamila Jemunja, and I'm a spirit guide medium, which means that I can connect people with their spirit guides. I can I can see or sense other people's spirit guides and can connect you with your spirit guide. Great. Everyone's saying yes, awesome. You can see me and hear me. Perfect. So I'm also a Hay House author, and my book, The 7 Types of Spirit Guide, is now available for pre-order, and it's super exciting. And if you haven't pre-ordered it yet, you can do so here. And also, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, then come on over here to my website, because only here can I do mini readings for you, which is what we're going to do later, and answer your questions, which is also what we're going to do later. There's a link in the description, either above or below, depending on where you're watching. Find that link, click on it, come on over and join the party. If you have any tech issues, please reload the page, reload the page, because that usually solves all the problems. All right, so we have lots of people here. We have Martine from Belgium. Hi. Michelle from Tennessee. Maria from Northern California. We have Iceland in the house. Awesome. We have Tanya from Denham Springs in Louisiana. Linda from Baton Rouge. Hi, Linda. We have Genevieve. And we have Heather and Erica and Anastasia. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. By the end of the show today, you will know why you incarnated here on Earth at this specific moment in time, the 7 signs a spirit guide wants to make first contact, and what it takes to be a true light worker. So in the second part of the show, we will do Q&A. So you can ask me questions about spirit guides, and I'll be happy to answer them. And then in the third part, we will be doing mini readings, which means I will do a reading for newbies, for the ones that have never had one before, and connect you with your spirit guides. So let's dive right in. And I see we have more people. Jocelyn from Cape Town, awesome. Macy from Texas, amazing. So let's start with, why did you incarnate here on Earth at this specific moment in time? Well, easy, because you are a light worker. And some of you might not like that term, and that's totally fine. You can use anything else you like. But what I mean by light worker is someone who decided to incarnate to help drive the spiritual evolution on this planet forward. You basically belong to a team of light beings that consists of not just humans, but also other beings from different dimensions who want to bring light and peace into this dimension. So how do I know that you are a light worker, like you specifically? Listen, I get it. Sometimes our fears and insecurities get in the way. And you might think that everyone else is a light worker, but not you. Maybe you think you are not, I don't know, like not smart enough, not thin enough, not extroverted enough, not old enough, not young or too young, or not, basically not special enough. But why else would you be here if you didn't feel that call? Like right here, right now, watching this show, why would you be here if you didn't feel that call? Everyone who is here right now is being called to make a difference in the world, to make this place a more inclusive and more egalitarian and collaborative place in some way, shape, or form. And the fact is that only you can do your job. There is no second you, and there will never be a second you. So take your calling seriously. And I know that's a huge responsibility, but that's why we're here. We're here to be us, to be aligned with our higher selves, to be fully authentic and do what we came here to do, right? Take your calling seriously. And to help you gain the confidence you need, here are the 7 signs a spirit guide wants to connect with you. So sign number 1, you feel called to connect with your guides. That's why you're here, right? You feel called to connect with your guides. Otherwise, you wouldn't come and watch this show. So maybe you've tried YouTube videos, meditations, other kinds of offerings, or other ways to connect you've heard about. It doesn't matter if you were successful or not. What counts is that you really, really want it, that you want to connect with your spirit guides. That's a sign that your guide wants to connect with you. Now, sign number 2, you see signs and synchronicities everywhere. So wherever you go, you see number plates with specific numbers, or butterflies follow you around, or maybe you keep hearing the same unlikely song all over again all the time. It doesn't matter what the specific signs and symbols you keep seeing are. So it could be that you see 1111, maybe you see 2222. It really doesn't matter. The point is that you see signs and synchronicities. And so what's important here is the fact that you are being contacted and asked to communicate back. So when you see these signs or synchronicities, then just take a moment, gather your energy, close your eyes for a second, and then just say something. You could say, obviously when there's other people around, maybe say it just like inside your own head, but otherwise say it out loud. Hey, I'm here. I see the signs. I'm ready to connect. What's next? And then just wait. And maybe you don't get an answer right away, and that's totally fine. We're still practicing here. So just say out loud, I'm here, I'm ready. Like, let me connect with you. And then sign number 3 is you've had psychic, shamanic, or mediumistic experiences, whatever you want to call them. Even just one such experience shows that you have the ability to connect with the spirit world. So maybe you've seen an angel, or maybe you've just felt your dead grandmother, or maybe you got a glimpse of the future. Whatever it is, this shows that you have the ability to connect to the spirit world, and you have this ability for a reason. It's a skill that needs to be developed and used. No one comes to Earth with a talent they are not supposed to use. So if you have a talent, if you've had some kind of experience, maybe it was just that you felt like really divine, or maybe there was just like this feeling around you that you knew, wow, something is going on, and it has to do with my spiritual path, and maybe I can't even explain it in words, but something is going on. That by itself already shows that your spirit guides are trying to connect with you. So I've had dozens of weird encounters with spirits before I finally understood what was going on and really followed the call. So don't make that same mistake. Know that you are being called. Trust your experiences and trust that that you are being asked to step up and connect. Sign number 4, you come from a lineage of spirit workers. And this is might be true for you, and you might not even know it. Sometimes when I do one-on-one readings with clients, I get that information. You come from a lineage of spirit workers, and there's no proof for that. It's just what the spirit guides tell me. But sometimes I encounter people who know about this. They know that their grandmother and great-grandmother were witches, curanderas, they were healers, they were mediums, whatever it is. So if that is true for you, if you know that at least some of your ancestors on either side were spirit workers, it might be your turn now. Maybe you grew up in a spiritually minded household, or you just know that your grandmother and great grandmother, like we said, were witches. Give me 1 second, sorry. You don't need to carry on the same exact traditions. Sorry, you don't need to carry on the same exact traditions. Maybe you want to do it completely differently. The point is that you are asked to take over the torch in some way, shape, or form. Number 5, you've always believed in angels, saints, nature spirits, or other type of spirit guides. So even as a kid, you know that angels are real, or you admired a specific saint, or you knew that it was the fairies who always hid your dad's car keys. The point is, you never questioned that there are spirit beings out there. You might never have seen them, but you just knew. Even if you lost that conviction for some time, now it's back and you feel that it's time to do something about it. Number 6, sign number 6, that your spirit guides are trying to connect with you. You strongly believe that the problems we as humans face today need to be addressed on a spiritual level as well as political, social, and all the rest. So you're tired of what's happening in the world. A lot of us are. You want real change, and you know that can only happen if the spiritual side of things gets addressed as well as everything else. You don't know how that can be accomplished, or maybe you do, that would be great, but maybe you don't, and that's what your guides can help you with. So don't get hung up on the fact that you don't know what to do about it yet. But that's why they are trying to reach out to you, to help you figure that out. What can you as an individual do in a very practical sense to make this world a better place for yourself, your family, your community, and the world at large? And then sign number 7, you are going through, or have gone through at some point in your lifetime, a spiritual awakening. So a big transformation might be happening in your life right now. And on the outside, this might look like you're grieving because you lost someone, you lost your job, you're going through a divorce, you have health issues, whatever it is. On the inside, this transformation leads you to see the world from a more spiritual perspective. It is prompting you to re-examine your world. Let go of past traumas and hurts and make more authentic life choices going forward. A spiritual awakening is a classic way of the spirit world to get your attention. It's like this has happened to people for over hundreds and thousands of years. It's often that we only awaken to the spiritual world when we go through some kind of like trauma or some kind of traumatic event. And that by itself is a sign that your spirit guides are trying to connect with you. So what does it take to be a true light worker? Excuse me. What does it take to be a true light worker? Again, don't get hung up on that word. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. Call it something else. But now that you know, let me know in the chat. If you think that your spirit guides are trying to connect with you based on these 7 signs that I just laid out for you, just say yes or no. That's enough. Let me know. But now that you know for sure that you are a light worker who came to make this world a better place, and that you are being called to connect with a spirit guide, or maybe a new one if you already know that you have one, here are some simple guidelines for light workers that will enable you to live your purpose and fulfill your mission. So first, let me see. Lots of people say yes. Martine says, was grief over a young soulmate dog. Greatest loss. Oh yeah, I can't imagine. I have a dog too. And Anastasia says, literally my life over the last few years. Yes. Martine says it got incurable sick just before the pandemic started and lost him. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sherry says yes. Martine says yes. Anastasia says yes. Laura says yes. Kathleen, Erica, David, Genevieve, Macy, Linda, Michelle. Everyone says yes. Perfect. And that's what I said, like even just you being here already shows that you're ready and that you're willing to connect with your spirit guides. So as someone sorry, let me start again because I basically interrupted myself. So what does it mean to be a true light worker? What does it take? Now that you know that you are a light worker and that you're being called to connect with your spirit guides, here are some simple like guidelines. So as someone who incarnated to bring light and peace to the world, first, you need some sort of spiritual practice. It doesn't matter what that looks like, as long as you do it regularly. It can be like a daily 5-minute routine or a weekly 1-hour routine. That's totally up to you. It could be that you meditate, or it could be that you go for a walking meditation, or it really doesn't matter. But build your practice around your needs and lifestyle so it works for you. Second, you need to be able to connect and communicate with your guides. So they are your cosmic mentors and can help you complete your mission and live your purpose. So number 1, spiritual practice. Number 2, you need to learn how to connect with your guides. Finally, you need to take action. So number 3, you need to take action. This is the most important part. So meditating, like the spiritual practice, is great. Prayer is great. All these things are amazing, but that's not enough. You need to put into practice what you have learned from your spiritual practice. Apply it for yourself in your relationships with loved ones, in your work life, in your community. Live by your own spiritual principles. If you think that kindness is very important, then be kind to everyone and really realize when you're not being kind. And we all do it. Sometimes we're annoyed and we're just not being kind to someone. Just realize it in that moment and do better. That's what it takes to be a true light worker. So again, I already asked you guys if you think that you are being called, or that you're a light worker and being called to work with your spirit guides. Now I'm asking you another question. Which of the 7 signs have you gotten that shows that a spirit guide wants to connect with you? So let me just go over them real quickly, and then you can tell me which one you got. So let's see here. Number 1, you feel called to connect with your spirit guides. If that's true for you, type 1. Just the number 1. Then number 2, you see signs and synchronicities everywhere. So if that's true for you, type 2. Number 3, you've had psychic, shamanic, or mediumistic experiences. If that's true, type 3. Number 4, you come from a lineage of spirit workers. If that's true for you, type 4. I'm curious if there's anyone here. Number 5, you've always believed in angels, saints, nature spirits, or other types of spirit guides. If that's true for you, type 5. Sign number 6, you strongly believe that the problems we as humans face today need to be addressed on a spiritual level as well as political and social. If that's true for you, type 6. And we have a 4 here. That was the spiritual lineage. Who is that? Genevieve. Interesting. Awesome. Tell us a little bit more in the chat. I'm really curious what kind of like spiritual lineage you come from. Yeah, curious about that. If you want to, of course. No, like you don't have to. So we were number 6. You strongly believe that problems need to be addressed also on a spiritual level. And then number 7, so sign number 7 was you are going through or have gone through a spiritual awakening in your lifetime. All right, let's see. You guys, awesome. So we have lots of number ones. Laura, Heather, Nicole says all of them. Brittany, number one. Genevieve, Alicia, Michelle. And then we have some twos. Laura, Kathleen, Sherry, Genevieve, Brittany, Heather, Michelle, and then, oh, and Maria. And then we have threes, also Genevieve, Petra, Michelle, Martine, Laura, Alicia, and then number 4, Petra also. Awesome. So we had, and Genevieve, the spiritual lineages. So curious about that. And then we have 5. Laura is 5. Petra, Kathleen, Genevieve, Brittany, Alicia. Awesome. Maria also says all of them. Revati says all of them, Jamila. It started mid-2017 after the passing of my grandmother. She was a healer. Yeah. That, by the way, that's something that happens in a lot of cultures and spiritual traditions, that when the person who basically was the light worker, spirit worker, whatever you want to call it, when they pass, that their spiritual power is transferred to the granddaughter, grandson, sometimes daughter. And in some cultures, this is done ritually, that sometimes, for example, someone will have something like what we might know as a medicine bag, where they have like all their spiritual power in physical form in that medicine bag, and that gets transferred to the kids or grandkids, and with that they get the spiritual power and can yeah, take on that work. So that's really interesting. Shauna says 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, but a whole lot of 3. Awesome. Nicole says Avalonian lineage, very interesting. Michelle says 4, great-grandma was a medium. Awesome. Oh, here's more 4s. Erica, also a 4. Linda, also a 4. Genevieve, oh, here, Genevieve says, sure, my sister and my daughter practice candle magic. My daughter is a medium. My mother and grandmother have prophetic dreams. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, awesome. Maria says, my grandmother was a curandera in Mexico and here. My mother an herbologist. Very interesting. I didn't know that. Linda says, my ancestor was a healer. I found out in my mini reading with you last time. Oh yeah, right. There you go. Like I said, sometimes that happens. I get that information about people. Genevieve says, I practice tarot and I'm also a medium. Awesome. Heather says, my grandma is a seer. So lots of you. I didn't think there were so many of you. Awesome. Then here, sorry, I never know how to pronounce your name. So I'm so sorry. Borfinur. I know you're from Iceland. Says not 4 for me. That's totally fine. We don't all have to come from spiritual lineages. I don't know because I'm adopted, so I wouldn't know, and it doesn't really matter. It's just curious. I'm just curious. Tanya asks, what's a seer? A seer is someone who, I think it's basically a different word for what some would call a psychic. So you can see things about other people. It's just a different term for it. Revati says, yes, I was constantly dreaming of the family deity. Initially, I freaked out. Oh, also very interesting, an ancestral spirit guide. So that an ancestral spirit guide is different from an ancestor guide. So an ancestor guide is someone, is a spirit guide who is your ancestor. So that could be like your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother or great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. But an ancestral guide is a spirit guide that has worked with your ancestral lineage. So it could be a deity, like in this case, or it could be a nature spirit, or it could be an animal spirit, or any of the 7 types of spirit guides. But the point is that they've worked with your ancestors and basically, keep working with your lineage. Anastasia says, my mom, grandma, and great aunt, all psychic mediums, and all of them wanted to help people, especially wanted to make everyone feel at home and welcome into love and be their authentic self. Beautiful. Martine says, think for, but don't know great grandparents. Yeah, well, I don't even know my birth parents. That's totally fine. But sometimes we just have like this feeling that we come from a lineage like that, and that's totally fine too. Maria says, my grandmother did her work in secret in the US and told me about it a year before she died at 95. I was already on my journey. Wow, amazing. I'm so glad she told you. That's really amazing. Yeah, of course. Like back in the day, that was like really, not received very well by mainstream society to be a curandera or a healer or anything that was not scientific. Jean says, I only have one. That's totally fine. One sign is enough. And you're here. That's the sign. That's the only sign you need. Anastasia says, Martine, my aunt was a doula for the community and helped all the animals in need too and took them in. Ah, doula. Awesome. Nicole says, oh, and I'm guessing like because you spelled it D-O-U-L-E-R, and I think you mean a doula in the sense of midwife, right? If I'm not right, please correct me. Nicole says, I haven't got any proof yet that my grandparents had the site, but they were gardeners for sure. And there was fairy magic there always. Oh, awesome. That's beautiful. Martine says, having precognitive dreams. My mother dreams also, had visitation dreams of people that have passed. Yes, so you definitely have medium mystic abilities. And then Martine says, speaking telepathically with animals. Awesome. All right, so that's awesome, you guys. So where were we? Where are we? Right, so if you want to learn who your personal spirit guide is and how to connect with them so they can help you live your purpose and make this world a better place for yourself and others, and use your spirit guide's wisdom to create change in your own and other people's lives, my book, The 7 Types of Spirit Guides, is now available for pre-orders. And if you've been here last week, you know that already. It's the first ever exploration of 7 different kinds of cosmic helpers that have communicated with shamans, mediums, priests, witches, and everyday people across cultures and throughout human history. And it starts with a quiz to discover your type of spirit guide. And I know lots of you have already taken the quiz that's on my website, but this is an extended quiz. It's double as long and way more detailed. So it starts with that, and then it explores the specific characteristics, gifts, and challenges that each type of guide brings. And it also explains why you have that type of guide and what that says about you. And then it also goes into, I bring some examples from around the world, from different cultures and spiritual traditions, on about how these people have worked with that specific type of guide, so you can be inspired and use that to connect with your personal guide. For example, if you have a nature spirit, then maybe you want to skip like the meditating inside and want to go out in nature because it makes sense, because you have a nature spirit. And so every different type has different ways you can connect with them, and ways that they are used to connect with humans. For example, deities oftentimes like it when you bring them offerings. Then animal spirits like it when you do something physical to connect with them. So you could go for a walking meditation. And so there's different ways. And if you know what type of guide you have, it's easier to connect with your personal guide. So, and then that's the last part of the book. There, in that part, you will learn how to communicate with your spirit guides to work through any challenges. So I teach you how to create a DIY spirit guide ceremony during which you can connect with your guide, and then how to create other ceremonies that help you with any challenges you might have in life. So healing ancestral trauma, growing your business, living life with purpose, all these kinds of things. And so anyone who pre-orders the book, and like I said, it's available for pre-order. It comes out on October 13th. If you pre-order, you will be able to join my book club, and we will read and work through the book together as a group. And I'm really excited about doing that. And then at the end, like I said, in the book, there's I explain how to do a DIY spirit guide ceremony. But when you pre-order, you will get to do that ceremony with me. We will do it together as a group online, and I will lead the ceremony, and then you will get to connect with your personal spirit guide during the ceremony. So if you're interested and you haven't ordered it yet, there's the green button below. It's right there. And you can click on it. It says pre-order the book, and you'll be redirected to my website, and there you can do that. All right, so now we're going to do, I think we're not going to do Q&A, but we're going to do mini readings first, because sometimes I hardly have any time for mini readings anymore. All right, so here's how that works. Find the Ask a Question section. That's right below the green, right below that green button that says pre-order the book. It says Ask a Question. And if you've never had a reading from me before, and really this is for newbies only. If you've had a reading before, please let others get their chance. Go to that section and type in newbie. Nothing else. So no questions, no whole sentences, just newbie, so I can quickly find you. All right. And again, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, come on over here to my website. There's a link in the description. So find the description under the live stream, or sometimes it's above, depends on where you are watching. Find that link, click it, come on over here so I can do a mini reading for you. All right. So also, there are a few things that you need to know. You've already heard me talk about the 7 types of spirit guide. This is something that I learned from my guides. They taught me there are angels, and I don't think I have to explain angels. Then we have ancestors. This could be grandparents, great-grandparents, but it could also be ancestors from hundreds or thousands of years back, or even from past lives. Then we have nature beings, which are elves, fairies, gnomes, etc. Then we have star beings, otherwise known as aliens, but I don't want to call them aliens because that freaks people out, because they think about scary Hollywood movies. Then we have ascended masters, who were once here as human beings, but they reached enlightenment and left the reincarnation cycle. Then we have deities, so gods and goddesses. And last but not least, animal spirits, who are not the souls of an individual animal, but the spirit of an entire species. And we all have a team of guides. So the one that has the most important message will be the one that steps forward. All right, so let's see. And I trust spirit, so to pick the right people. So I just randomly pick someone. I can't do readings for everyone, unfortunately. If you don't get a reading, don't be discouraged. listen closely to the readings that I will give to people. And if it feels like this is like also relevant to you, then see it as a message for yourself as well, because our spirit guides work that way. Sometimes they kind of like team up as groups. And one of them steps forward and I will give a reading for one person, but in reality, that reading is for maybe 4 or 5 of you. So if it feels relevant, take that as like the sign that the reading is also for you. All right. So how this works is that I invite you on screen. You will get a little message that says that I've invited you. You have to say yes. You'll pop up here on my screen and then we can do the reading. All right. I'm going to invite Alicia. I'm going to invite Shauna. And I'm just going to invite some people until someone comes up. I'm going to invite Macy. And like I said, just type newbie, nothing else, please. I'm going to invite, here's someone without a name. Well, I'll invite you anyway. And Nina. Here we have someone. Awesome. Let's see. Macy. Hi, Macy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Where are you from, Macy?
I'm from Texas, from Austin, Texas.
Oh, nice. I always wanted to like come visit, but I've never made it so far. All right, so let's see. And we have Nina. Nina, I'm going to mute you for now, and I'm going to work with Macy. All right, let's see. Macy, there's an animal guide for you here. And it's a white wolf, female wolf. All right, so she says, I'm not quite sure if this like is still true or if this was in the past, but she's talking about you feeling a little lonely and not having the companionship you would like. And this is about like friendships. Yeah, it feels like, yeah, like you're feeling a little bit lonely. And again, I'm not sure if this is still the case or if this was past. I'm not quite sure. But let's see. But she says she's with you because you have similar characteristics. That you're a very loyal person when it comes to your loved ones and friendships. So if you decide, okay, if you let someone into your inner circle, then you are very loyal and you are really there for people. And she says she is the same way and she really appreciates that about you, and that's why she works with you. And she says that's a quality that you bring into this world, and to not let other people stop you from being like this. And she says that you had some disappointments when it comes to friendships, and that made you question a little bit, like if you should be a little bit more, or let's say less loyal, less friendly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
she says, okay, so she says, don't worry about these things. You will find your people. You will find your tribe. You will find, actually, I don't like using that word, sorry. You will find your people. You will find people that appreciate your loyalty and that are the same way. So just stick with it for now. And when you do feel lonely, call on her. Her name is Kira, Keira. yeah, and yeah, when you do feel lonely, go out into nature, she says, because you also have connections with nature spirits, and she will be by your side. And just visualize her walking next to you, just like if you had like a dog or a cat or something with you, or a friend, and just like talk to her, whatever's on your mind. And yeah, go for adventures with her. And she's been with you at least since you were little, I think your entire life. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Okay, that really makes a lot of sense. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I hope this helps you on your path forward. And thank you so much for coming to
Thank
the
you.
show.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. All right, so now we have, who was next? Nina, right? And I'll mute Sherry for now. Hi, Nina.
Hi.
So nice to have you here. Where are you calling from? Or
From
calling?
Sweden.
Where? From where?
Sweden.
Sweden. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Another place I've never been to.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's see. All right, there's an angel here for you, a female angel. Mm. Sorry, give me one sec. I'm a little bit distracted. Right, so this is about you have healing abilities. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is about you expanding the modality of your healing, I guess. So basically, your angel wants you to try different kinds of healing. I'm not sure what you've tried so far, but there's definitely you're very good at when it comes to like healing emotions, and going into also like trauma. So basically, healing the heart. Are you aware of that?
Not in that detail, but yeah, I've gotten some similar messages.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Great. So experiment with that. Find like ways. I don't know, maybe spiritual traditions or ways that other people do this, schools, workshops, whatever you can find, whatever you feel drawn to, that right, that teach you different ways to do that. And I'm also getting there's something about like healing family karma, that direction, something ancestral healing. And also something about kids, working with kids. Right, and also past lives. So, okay, so this is all about basically going back to past lives, but also ancestral lineages, these kinds of things, and healing that so that people in this lifetime can move forward and not being held back. Have you ever tried anything like that?
I've had experiences doing this when I've been like taking plant medicine. So I've been shown a lot of things that I know how to do. And like during the experience, it was like, I've always done this. I know how to do this, but
Yes.
in life, I don't know how to do it.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Because I've connected with an ascended master, and I know that there are other guides with me, but I don't know who they are. So this was really, really interesting.
Awesome. So I can give you a tip. I don't know. There's this guy called Daniel Foor, Dr. Daniel Foor, Foor, and he's written a book called Ancestral Medicine, I think. And it's all about ancestral healing. And he also teaches people how to do it. If you're interested, maybe just get the book and see if it like speaks to you, and then you can take it from there. There are other people out there, of course, who do similar things, but I read his book and really liked it. So.
That's super interesting. I was a bit interested in like soul retrieval and like shamanic journey.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. But yeah, this was really, really interesting. Thank you so much.
Glad to-
I was really curious. Like, I know that there's more. I'm just not sure what or where to start or how to do it.
Yeah. Well, there you got your breadcrumb. Follow it.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, and now we have Sherry. Let me unmute you. Hi, Sherry.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I thought I couldn't hear you, but I can. Oh, awesome. Where are you from, Sherry?
Hammond, Louisiana.
All right, awesome. Oh, God, another place I have never been to. I hope this pandemic stops soon because I want to travel again.
Me too.
All right, so let's see who I can get for you. Your guide is hiding a little bit, which is usually a sign for me to know that the person I'm talking to, you, Sherry, is more the quiet kind and more the introverted, like an introverted person. Would that make sense for you?
A little bit, but I'm just figuring out. I feel a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Right, so you're working with a deity, a goddess. It's not like a goddess from one specific culture. It's like the goddess, like basically Mother Earth as goddess, just the female principle as goddess, the divine feminine. And from what I'm getting is you can give her any name you like. You can work with any goddess you like, because all goddesses are part of the one female principle. And this is about, and don't misunderstand this is about, like, I don't know a better word, but it's about fertility, not in the sense like having lots of children or anything. It's more about it's almost like you are a priestess who and this is an image for what you're doing, because I'm not getting the right words, but it's almost like, imagine you're a priestess and you're blessing the land so it can be fertile and bring a lot of like food for your people. And again, this is like obviously an image, but it so your purpose is to bring or to prepare things. So this is really hard to explain, sorry. It's almost like you have the ability to make things grow, like prepare something so something can grow out of it. So that could, manifest in many different ways. For example, you could be a kindergarten teacher and working with little kids, and you help them see their own potential, so their potential can grow when they grow. It could be that you are literally a doula. It could be in that you help business owners to make sure that their businesses are ready to make more money. So there's different ways that you can do it, but that's basically like one of your gifts. Does that make sense at all?
I am a special education teacher.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's see. You should also be very good with like plants, making them grow.
Yes,
Okay, great. And you should be good at manifesting whatever it is you need. Sometimes that when I say that to people, they say, no, that's not true. Like I'm always out of money or whatever. But it is in you. So if you think that's not true for you, really look into it. Like really read a book on manifesting, for example, because you definitely have that ability, and it wants to come out and yeah, be used by you. So anything that has to do with making things grow, be it literally or symbolically, is a gift that you have. And so also working with the divine feminine. Oh, and also it's important when it comes to manifesting, because there's two different ways to manifest. You have the way of the divine masculine, you have the way of the divine feminine. Obviously, we have to use both, but the way of the divine feminine is more your way. So it's more about calling things in instead of going after them, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So yeah, definitely work with like the goddess, read up on goddesses a little bit, maybe have a little altar somewhere where you yeah, have like a little statue of a goddess or something like this. Because the more you call that in, the more that gift will come out in you.
definitely. So I've been doing a lot of work with myself, but plants are definitely, my kids are definitely, I've been told that I belong with my kids for teaching, and I teach basically autism. And so I belong with kids. I've been told that over and over. I've been told, and then I love plants. They're all over my house. And in a lot of my meditations, the word green has come about. Green, grass, lush, nature.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
calling to be in that. And then I surround myself with plants all the time, and I never know why, but I just am called to have more and more and more in them. And I've also started expressing myself through creation of organite, making organite, and it has just taken off before I had the opportunity to even, like, I'm shocked that it's bloomed and blossomed the way it has, because it was really for me, but then it's given to many. So I'm still in shock over that right now.
Well, awesome. That's really good.
But I do I smell, and I think that's one of my senses. I think I smell my grandmother's. I smell their lotion, which I don't like the smell of. It's not unpleasant, but I don't own a single bottle of it. But I quite smell that.
Yeah. And, well, your grandmother's around then. That's awesome.
So, but thank you.
Was she similar to you? Did you have similar personalities?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was connected with, there's things I remember and I recall about my grandmother. But my personality is much more outgoing. She's shy one that I think won't come forward sometimes. And then I also have my husband's grandmother who I was close to, which I seem to connect with her very, always connected with her very much. So I think they're both here. I can't really
Interesting.
discern. And then I think my son has that ability to connect with animals. And we actually had a therapy dog, and that we were very connected to, and her soul was just very loving and connecting, and her eyes can see straight through you. I mean, she was able to read people very easily.
Yeah.
And I think he has some abilities. I don't think he knows it.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, especially now that you know that he has the abilities, you can like foster that in him. That's really beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming. Bye. All right, guys, it's time for questions. If you have any questions, again, find the Ask a Question section and then type in your question there. And I will be happy to answer them. We have maybe 10 more minutes. So type your questions in. And again, if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, come on over here to my website, because only here can I answer your questions. The link is in the description, either above or below. And come on over here, ask your questions. All right, so let's see. Laura, your questions only half. Can you see any off? That's all I read. I don't know what the rest of the question is. You might have to retype that. Heather asks, how can I hear my guides clearly? You need to ask another question first. You need to first ask, what is your best way of connecting with your guides? Because hearing is not for everyone. For example, Sherry just said that she smells like spirit. She knows when her grandmother is around because she smells the lotion. Other people are better with seeing. And other people are like me, I'm claircognizant, which means I get the downloads. I don't see, well, I have clairvoyance too, but I hardly ever hear guides or past loved ones. It's just like they download their knowledge into my brain. It's just like they dump it in there and then I just know. And sometimes I also have clairvoyance, which means I see. So the first questions you need to ask yourself, which is your main sense when it comes to sensing spirit. So when you look at past episodes of the Spirit Guide Show, I have a whole series on the different clairs. So the clairs are these different senses. You have clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, which you have clairaudience, which is clear hearing. You have claircognizance, which I just explained. You have sentience, which is clear feeling, and that would be that you feel spirits, or you get like a goosebumps, for example, or you just feel like a wave of love, and then that's the way your spirit guides communicate with you. And it's important to first figure out what is your main clair, because otherwise you're going to focus on, let's say, hearing, but maybe hearing isn't your way of doing it. And you could much more easily connect with your guides through, let's say, clairvoyance, but you're focused on the hearing. So that's number one. And then once you figure out what your main clair is, then you can develop it. And again, like in when you go to my Crowdcast profile, and I'll try to find it real quick for you. Then you can find these past episodes and watch the ones on the different clairs. And there are all, and I also have I'm trying to find it. I also have one on each clair with exercises and everything. Okay, here it is. Let's see. I'm going to post it in the chat. All right, there you go. So just click on that link and then scroll through and find the ones on clairaudience, clairvoyance, etc. All right, so then Someone without a name asks, see internal energy or lack, not sure what to do with it. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Can you explain that a little bit so I can give you an answer? See internal energy. I'm not quite sure what you mean by internal energy. Do you see internal energy with other people or in yourself? Or please be a bit more specific. Nina asks, can you explain how you go into light trance? Yes. So nowadays I just basically close my eyes and I can just switch it on. But the way you want to do it is by practicing, and I've explained this a few times. You basically sit like you would meditate. You sit like straight, like with a straight back. Don't lie down, because our bodies are used to, when we lie down, to fall asleep. They just do that automatically. But if you sit straight, that won't happen. Then you close your eyes and you just relax, take a few deep breaths. And then what I do is I focus on my root chakra and visualize the roots going all the way into the earth, to the center of the earth. And then I breathe in the energy of the earth. And then I focus on the top of my head, the crown chakra, and I connect to the universe. And I breathe in the energy of the universe into my body. And then I focus on my third chakra. And I visualize a sun that's sitting there, because this is like the seat of our personal power. And so I visualize that sun, and I let it expand and expand and expand and expand and expand until it fills up my entire aura. And while I do that, I push out any kind of energy that is not mine. And then I basically create this sacred space that's just filled with my own energy and nothing else. And then I sit in my own energy. And it's important to do that, because almost none of us ever do that, and we don't even know what our own energy feels like. And when I do that, I align myself with my higher self, because my higher self and my energy are the same, basically. So I raise my vibration just by sitting in my own energy and focusing on my own energy and cleansing it by pushing everything else out. And then I ask my guides to come in. But basically, when you do this kind of like meditation, you go into a light trance. So try that and let me know how it goes. Interesting question from Alexandra. I'm a Buddhist. Is it okay to look for guides? I don't know. I don't have the answer, because I'm not a Buddhist. I definitely think it's okay, but I don't know what Buddhists would say. So you would have to ask someone from your community. I do know that in some Buddhist traditions, I know specifically one Buddhist tradition that works with lucid dreaming, and they definitely connect with guides through lucid dreaming. So there must be something going on with Buddhism and guides. But other than that, I can't answer your question. I'm really sorry. Yasmin asked me something in Spanish. Well, God, you're just testing my skills. Sorry, you will have to say that in English. Yeah, please ask in English, sorry. Oh, Laura asked, can you connect with any of my ancestors near me? I do that during the mini readings. Now we're doing the Q&A, but also you can book a one-on-one reading with me. And then we can definitely do that. Happy to do that. And that would be like a 1-hour session. And then you can also ask me any kind of questions you have. And you can ask your guides any kind of questions you have, and they will answer through me. Genevieve wants to know, how do you know the difference between your intuition and your spirit guide speaking to you? That comes with time and with experience. So your intuition comes from yourself, from your higher self, but your guides can use your intuition to basically inject their guidance into your intuition, and they can also use your imagination. So a lot of people always want to know, like, how do I know if I'm making it up or if it's really my guides? Well, even if you are making it up, your guides will use your imagination or your intuition to bring in their guidance. For example, a good example are guided meditations. You are basically told to visualize certain things. But then while you do that, you get messages from your guides. So it can be mixed up. So in the beginning, it might be hard, and it really comes with practice. So start by just accepting that it might be either your intuition or your guides, and you might not always know the difference. That's totally fine, because it doesn't matter where the information is coming from, as long as it's like bringing something positive to your life, you're good. And then just keep going, and with time you'll know the difference. You can also, one way to maybe help you is like your intuition really comes from your higher self, so it's more something that comes from the inside, and your guides are outside of you, so it comes from the outside. That doesn't mean that it necessarily comes from like literally outside. You don't have to hear voices or see something outside of you, but there is a slight difference, and again, with practice you will know that. I know that's like a bit of a vague answer, but it's really hard to explain it. Yeah, keep practicing. Michelle says, what specifically can I do to more connect with my guides? That meditation that I just talked about, sitting in the power and visualizing that sun and sitting in your own power, that's the first part of it. So when you do that, again, you learn to just be in your own energy field and feel your own energy. And then once you can do that, then you ask your guides to step into your aura, into that sacred space that you created. And once you're used to what your own energy feels like, you feel the difference when your guide steps in. You will feel that the energy changes. So start by sitting in the power, in your own power, for a few weeks, every day, once a week, whatever works for you. And then once you think, okay, I got it, I know what I feel like, what my energy feels like, then you start inviting your guides to come in one at a time. And you just ask them, please step into my aura. And once they do, you should feel a difference. You could get like really hot, really cold. Your nose might start itching. You might start feeling like you're bigger or smaller than you are, or that you're floating. It's different for everyone. And this is called the calling card. So there's your spirit guide's calling card. And once you realize, okay, something is changing, then you ask them to step out again. And then that calling card should disappear, right? And then you ask them again to step into your aura, and the calling card should reappear. And then you know you're on the right track. Keep doing that for a while until you are sure, okay, this is a calling card and it really works, so coming in and out. And then you can start asking yes and no questions. So you could say, should I move to London or to New York? And you say, okay, if I should move to London, then step into my aura for a yes and stay out for a no, for example. And then you ask again, should I move to New York? Yes for come in, no for out. So yes, no question. And then you can take it from there. All right. Jean wants to know, can your guides stop helping you or leave you if they don't agree with your actions? No, they don't leave you. No, they never leave you, and they don't stop helping you. No, that's not what they do. They are connected to you in unconditional love, and they would never leave you. It doesn't matter what you do. That's not like an excuse, obviously, but they will not leave you. Michelle asked, what can I be doing more of? I just explained that. Do that meditation, try that. And Anastasia wants to know, can you have two clairs that equally prominent in terms of communicating with spirit? Yeah. So I have like claircognizance and clairvoyance. Both work. And then also sometimes it depends on the guide, because the guide can also have their own preferences and can find it easier to come in through, let's say, clairaudience instead of clairvoyance. So that's another thing to consider, definitely. And then she asks, I often wonder what is stronger, my clairaudience or clairsentience. Well, use both. Like I said, I use both, or it just happens, and that's totally fine. Right, and then person without name. Yes, in others, myself, I concentrate, see like, oh, that was the earlier question about energy. What was the question? Something about seeing energy, right? Okay, so yes, you see energy in others. And in yourself, if you concentrate, see lack of energy in organs or over a whole person. What that means is that you have healing abilities, because if you see that, then you probably see it because you also have a way to balance that energy. So take some classes in energy healing and see and experiment. Like learn some kind of energy healing, and then next time, like, find a friend who wants to volunteer and like check their energy and see if you can see where it's not balanced or where energy is lacking, and then do the energy healing and see if that helps, and then ask your friend how she feels or how he feels. That's what I mean by, if you have these kinds of gifts, do something with it. But that's awesome. So yeah. Nina asks, once you've opened up to psychic abilities, can you ever lose them? No, but sometimes it seems like you lose them. For example, if you're going through grief, this is very common, even among mediums. Even if like mediums know there's no death in that sense, but they still go through the grieving process like everyone else. And a lot of mediums have to stop working during that time because it's just too much. They just can't do it because it's just, there's too much going on emotionally. So in that sense, it might look like you lose it, but it will come back. So the same for any other kind of trauma. If you're going through like really rough times, sometimes it looks like you lose your abilities, but don't worry, it's gonna come back. All right, one more question, guys. Here, Heather asked, how can you tell if it's your guides communicating with you or just your imagination? I already answered that. And then, oh, here's one. Petra asked, can your guides help you to learn about and or grow your clairs? Absolutely. Just ask them. Ask them to help you develop them. And then go on the internet, or better yet, watch like the past episodes of my show that are about these different clairs. I have exercises that you can do, and you can basically ask your guides to work with you and to do the exercises with you and develop your clairs. Yes, you can do that. I think I answered almost all the questions. Yes. All right. So thanks everyone for coming. Like I said, you can also book a one-on-one reading with me, and you can do that. Like I said, that's like 1 hour. Obviously, it goes way more into depth. And I usually connect people with 1 to 3 different guides. I give you any messages they have for you, and then you can ask questions, as many as you like. If you're interested, click on this link, and that's where you can, oops, did that work? Yes, that's how you can book a reading with me. And of course, if you want to order my book, click that button, the green one. That would be awesome. The more pre-orders I get, the more bookstores will order the book and sell it. So pre-orders are super, super important. So if you're interested, please don't wait. Order now. And also because then you will get the bonuses. You will get to join me for my book club, and we will read the book together, and we will do the ceremony together. So thank you so much for coming. I hope you'll be back next week. That's it for today. Also, if you want to stay connected with me during the week, I'm on Instagram and post almost every day. And here's the link. And thank you so much for coming again, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.